got the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a New River thing. Virginia Tech fire, rapid pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark. Big Dog Sports Talk, lighten up the dark. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint. Calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold. Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold. With a laugh and a growl, he'll pull you in. Big Dog's podcast, let the games begin. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark. Big Dog Sports Talk, lighten up the dark. Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark. Big Dog Sports Talk, lighten up the dark. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark. Big Dog Sports Talk, lighten up the dark. Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a New River thing. Virginia Tech fire, rapid pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark. Big Dog Sports Talk, lighten up the dark. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint. Calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold. Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold. With a laugh and a growl, he'll pull you in. Big Dog's podcast, let the games begin. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark. Big Dog Sports Talk, lighten up the dark. Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone.
All right. There you go. Sorry, we had to run through that twice. We had things fall. We good? Everybody good? Good morning. Hey, Emma. Hit us up in the McClellan Chiropractic chat room. Can everyone see and hear me okay? Well, my microphone arm had come ajar. This thing here. So the first time I came in after the song was ending, it started to fall. So that's what I've been doing, which is why you heard the open. So hopefully we're good. Everybody, we good? Do we have one of the regulars in chat who can hit us up? Let me know everything's okay. Or anyone can chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat room. Says we're live, good to go. Mike seems to be stable. It's always something. Always something. But I think we're good now. Yeah, this thing completely fell. So don't know how, but it did. How's everybody doing? We're at Thursday, which means we're a little closer to the start of college football. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks, everybody. All right, good. But still, no matter what happens so far on YouTube, it's 100 times less impactful than when I was just doing radio. 100 times. What's up, David Slusher? What's up, Prometheus, Stephen, Low Country? Low Country living. David Smith in just a little bit. We're going to be talking some National Football League. They eliminated the Pro Bowl. Thank God. They turned it into a mockery, shadow of its former self under the leadership of Roger Goodell when it became flag football. Are you kidding me? You know, the NFL used to have not only the Pro Bowl where the guys gave a damn, they used to also have all-star games against the best college teams. Or the college all-stars team would play the best NFL team. We can't do that anymore because, you know, game's just too physical. And I'm sorry, the more I've gotten separated from it, guys today are not tougher than the guys that I grew up with in the 70s and the 80s. You can talk about guys being bigger and stronger. The equipment's much better, the protective equipment. There's no way there's anybody tougher than Randy White, Mean Joe Green. So, yeah, I'm not buying it. From Frank's watchful eye in Blacksburg, rebuilt the Hokies football fame. Do you think Franklin will ever find BT football their A game? BDST is live and online. Thanks, Teddy. Appreciate that. Thanks for subbing. All right, everybody. Okay, what are we doing? Get in. It is all hell break loose Thursday. Creed just knocks over like 6 things. He's running from something. There were coyotes in the area. I heard them this morning. So he's a little on edge. Good Lord. Sorry. Anyway, we'll talk to David Smith about the deceased Pro Bowl. Now they're just going to announce the all-pro teams. Yay, have a ceremony. I know the NFL is making more money than ever before, and it's probably more universally popular than ever before, but it's not a better game now than it was. It's just not. Am I wrong about that? So David Smith today, Andy Bitter from Tech Sideline, and then Dwight Vick. So we got good stuff for you. Next week, we get you primed and ready for VMI. Not only will Coach Elmo have his preview of the Keydets, Dwight Vick and I will debut our show, which will be, if I can find it, which will be this. Boom. Victory from the Tunnel. So we'll do that next week, getting you ready, getting Dwight's take on everything. Victory from the Tunnel with Dwight Vick. So that'll be next week. And we'll get you ready. What's up, Geese? Good morning. How are you? Hey, ESPN's no longer going to have the scores running at the bottom of their college football broadcast. Did you see that? What are your thoughts about that? So now you just get the score bug, and you're not going to have the constant updating of stuff at the bottom. Hell no, you were not wrong, Rick. Whoever said that, please. Yeah, it's just the general consensus. Well, the players are just so much tougher today. It's just so much more physical. Really? With the way the game's officiated, you can't hit anybody. Guys just don't want to practice. They don't want to be involved. There's too much litigation. They share too many agents. There's no way anybody's tougher than those Oakland Raider teams of the 70s and early 80s. There's no way anybody today playing the game is any tougher than Jack Youngblood, who played a playoff game with a broken leg. Now, I don't really care about the Pro Bowl at all. They turned it, like I said, into a complete, utter just joke the last few years with, hey, let's play it big at flag football. So, I don't know, man. I'm not buying it anymore. Yeah, I know guys are bigger, but pound for pound, are they really stronger than the guys they used to go up against, at the same era? When the helmets were not nearly as protective as they are now, the padding was not nearly as protective. The rules did not protect players remotely as closely as they do now. You look at some of the hits prior to 2000 in the NFL, things that today would probably have players suspended. So with injuries increasing and with physicality of the game always being talking about, oh, thanks, Teddy. That means a lot. I'm not buying it anymore. Don't try to sell me that. It's just the guys today don't want to be part of it. Now Creed's out chasing something, banging against the door. I'll tell you what, it's been one of those mornings. Yeah, tougher than Mike Singletary, Ronnie Lott? I don't think so. Hey, Ronnie, we're going to have to tell you you're going to miss the rest of the postseason because of that finger. I'll tell you what, why don't you just cut that half off? I'll have it reattached later so I can play in the playoffs and potentially the Super Bowl. That happened. That's not fiction. Ronnie Lott cut off half his finger to play football. You might call it crazy. Or is it just being determined? Is it central focused? I'd be interested to see if the fearsome foursome of the steel curtain front seven against the modern offensive line. Well, there's some good offensive lines back in the day that they played against. Now, relatively speaking, guys are stronger. The conditioning's different. They're heavier. Guys are heavier. I don't think they're better football players. Right? I just don't. But in any event, we can't do any of that today. Preseason games, once they go to 18 games, will be down probably to 2. Used to play 6 preseason games, an all-star game, and a Pro Bowl. Never were any, I mean, we didn't hear much about it. We didn't have social media crap and all that. What's up, Opal? Good to see you. Yeah, Creed is raising holy hell this morning. It's been a wild morning. This fell down. But still, hey, we got on the air, didn't we? You go into the radio station some mornings, you know you're in trouble when you see the engineer's truck outside the studio. What's going on? Yeah, the studio tower collapsed. A pack of beavers got up there and chewed through it. We don't know when you might be back on. Yeah, the computer's down. Some kind of virus in there. What do you think? I mean, let me know what you think. Am I off target here? Is football better today? Is the National Football League product better today than it was during its rise up when we were all becoming massive fans and totally addicted to it, the NFL? Is the game itself better today? When you watch an NFL game, do you believe that it's better than what we used to watch? To what we grew up with? Be honest. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If you have a different opinion, that's fine. Because you see, in this community, you can have different opinions and nobody's going to go, well, I'm going to ban him. How dare he or she? Can't believe they disagreed with him. They must be a horrible person. Anyway, let me know. Let me know your thoughts. For me, that says I think the 90s was the best, but I might be biased. No, it was a very, very good era. 90s was great. Great era of NFL football, no doubt. I mean, look at those Cowboys. Do you think there's a better offensive lineman than Larry Allen? Today? I just get tired of hearing about how much more hard it is to play the game today. I think it's because the guys from the neck up have made that part of their acumen. Maybe coaches are making it too complicated. We may have to get into all this with David Smith and completely destroy everything that he had lined up to talk about today. But he grew up in that era. He can have a nice, honest assessment. He's our NFL guy. Is the game of football in the National Football League, is it an actual better product? Now, I'm not talking about making more money. Inflation over the many decades is going to make – okay, I'm not talking about international acceptance, ratings. We know all that is a yes. All right, this isn't that kind of debate. Somebody will turn it into that. Not none of any of you, but someone will. I'm talking about when you watch an NFL game on a Sunday, does it look and feel the same as it used to? For me, not even close. Quarterback, correct. I was going to say that, Prometheus. You're 100% right. Quarterback play, not remotely as good today as it was. None. Josh Allen, considered the best quarterback in the NFL by many. He would not have been lined up head-to-head against the guys even in the 90s, Prometheus. Morris says, sometimes, Rick, you have to strap it on tight and never say, can it get any worse? Yeah, it was just wild. Like I said, I came in, I started the song, or got ready to finish the song, and when I did this, boom. Oh, it's loose over here. So then I had to play the song again, and then Creed gets up here running in the house like he's being chased by something. Knocked over about 3 things over here. Absolutely not. They didn't have the bobblehead helmets back in the day. Now, listen, I'm not – they did. You're right, Opal. They got a concussion. They walked it off. I'm not saying I'm condoning the way we ignored the head injuries and things like that, all right? There was a lot of lack of attention to that. All of us who played high school football, we probably had many concussions. I know I did. Hell, I had to line up against Todd Grantham and Jack Turner. I didn't leave a Joel Hicks practice field without a concussion every week. But I'm just saying, all that aside, I'm talking about just mano-a-mano and the type of game that it was. I mean, I've talked about it openly here on the show before I moved it to YouTube. You can just watch the game, and it's not nearly as enjoyable as it used to be. The coaching, I think, was much better back in the day. Maybe the money got too big, and guys became, with the creation of all this social media, became more of a marketing thing over the game itself, too. I know we miss Opal. She's the first lady of our McClellan Chiropractic chat room. Welcome here from our Family Fencing Studios. BDST brought to you every day by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. And hit us up on our Attorney Ryan Pry question of the week. You still have one more day. Who's the greatest NFL coach of all time on our Professional Door Incorporated text line? Make your bank National Bank. Remember FDIC. I've been their partner for 35 years or more. They should be yours today. Little River Heating and Air, Charles Lee and Christiansburg. Make sure you give Charles a call. It's a little more muggy today, but we're going to have some colder air coming in as soon as they kick it off on Saturday. It's already leading up to it. You can't wait. NRV Super Bowl's got their youth leagues forming today. Make sure you go out and get your youngins signed up. Lawson's Mobile Home Supplies, done it since 1987. Manufactured parts for your home, 540-381-8011. Trying to see how many of these I can do off the cuff. ReadySetFund.com, BobChrist11@gmail. Reach out to Bob and see how a series of text messages can help you raise money for your sports team and or its organization. Mark Hunley, I mentioned McClellan Chiropractic, 155 Walters Drive. We're presented each and every day by Pulaski County Sports Entertainment. What did I leave off? Oh, I left out Sundown Electric, the Smith Brothers down in Elliston. You want your electricity and your house to be wired correctly? Well, reach out to Sundown Electric. They are the absolute best. Thanks to Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel. Everybody at the Montgomery County Chamber, we've got a new sponsor starting next Tuesday, and then we'll have one starting Labor Day week. Yes, we do. So we're excited about the start of September. Morris says Don Shula. I thought we already settled that. Oh, Shula's getting a lot of votes. For me, this says I think the technical aspect is better, but not tougher or better. I can see that. That makes sense. I mean, the game's more honed and polished. It has evolved offensively with certain coaches and certain scheming and things like that. But you know what? It's still all about lining up. You got to block somebody and you got to tackle somebody. Every game is still one up front. But I would agree with that. I think that's a good way to say it. The technical aspects of the game have evolved, and it probably is more honed. But the NFL's biggest problem is, and I think this is true, especially with Roger Goodell, who makes $60 million a year. They try to fight what they are. Why is American football far and away the most popular sport in this country? Because of the physicality, the brutality. Football is very, now listen, I don't want anybody to take offense to this, but it's got the same kind of format. It's got the same type of goals as battles, wars in the battlefield, territorial rights. That's what it is. I'm not the first one to say this, but that's what it is. That appeals to us as Americans. We love the athleticism. There's something about knowing how tough and physical the game is, right? It means something more. You know how guys feel. Hockey's the same way. Andrew, I think hockey's more physical than the NFL. I agree with you. Well, Opal, I hope you're doing okay now, and I hope you can join us more often. Yeah, $60 million per year for Roger Goodell, who recently just said, hey, you know what? We're going to have an NFL team overseas, maybe even two. But everything that the NFL football in general is based on has been attacked from all sides by the people that are running it. They're trying to change so much of everything that the league has built over the years. And a lot of it is outside pressure. A lot of it is the fear of litigation. A lot of it is political groups getting involved. And the NFL has gotten draped in politics. So it caves into things that normally you would just look at and go, yeah, whatever. But the NFL's forgotten what has made it so popular. Now, not to the point where it's going to become unpopular. But I don't know how many people running it, how many owners today appreciate the game itself. Seems like the owners back in the day were a major part of why the league succeeded, because they were mostly massive football fans, the guys who kept the teams from the merger, from the AFL into the NFL. Those guys who bought football teams in the AFL, your Al Davises, right? Bud Adams in Houston, Lamar Hunt, right? All these people who brought their teams into the NFL, they did so back in the AFL because they loved the game and they couldn't get involved in the NFL because there was a good old boy network. So all those rich, whether they were oil folks, whatever they may have been, that bought the AFL teams, they couldn't get into the NFL as owners. So because of their passion for the sport, when they finally did what they had to do and merge, all those owners brought that passion and mixed it in with the NFL. So the game exploded. Today, I don't know how many of these owners are looking at this other than just another investment opportunity in their portfolio. How many passionate owners? Warts and all, no matter what you say about Jerry Jones, he loves the game of football. Right? I think Jeffrey Lurie up in Philadelphia loves football. I mean, you can probably count on your two hands how many of these owners are really football fans. Yeah, sure thing, Miles. Shout out to you. Miles is mythic. Andy Bitter, Dwight Vick a little later. Speaking of, he's not mythic, but first of all, before I bring my brother on, I feel just horrible. Apparently, I missed your birthday. Happy belated birthday, my friend.
Grateful to have him, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the kind wishes.
Much. And then I saw it I think 2 days after it happened. I'm like, well, I'll just tell him on Thursday.
Sounds like a plan. Anytime I can get them, I'll take them, man. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I was listening to you talk about the owners and what is their passion or what is their motive for owning a team. I didn't catch the whole segment. Well, that doesn't hurt. That doesn't hurt. So yeah, Rick, there's you go back to what is it? The Ford family owns the Lions. I think you have those guys, but you have to kind of look at. I think you're right. I heard you say Jeffrey Lurie. He's legit. Jack Kent Cooke used to own Washington back in the day. He was one of those that you could really feel good about owning it. And before all the screw ups, of course, Jed York notwithstanding. My God.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah.
Whew, man, but it's so interesting to hear of his situation and realize he's not the first owner that's done that. Yeah, Robert Kraft had his issues several years ago too. I think it was in Florida, and so
yep.
So I don't know. These owners maybe they need to get a better arrangement, shall we say? But Robert Kraft, I think, once he figured out the football thing, you could kind of see that he really had an investment in it, and in a lot of ways, sometimes it's just great fortune. Rick, I think the guys that owned the Niners, it was Ed DeBartolos, the Bartolo family.
Yeah, sure.
They back in the 80s, you could tell that and those players loved Eddie DeBartolo. I think he was just there with Roger Craig at his induction several weeks ago. It may have actually been on stage with him to actually, how they have who's going to represent you. He might have been his presenter. He might have been. So yeah, it's kind of crazy when you start thinking about the passion or the rationale for the ownership. But saying all that, in 13 days, we're going to trot them out there anyway, regardless. And so Seattle will open the season against New England on Wednesday, I believe it is. And then they're going to do 2 weeks from tonight. We're 14 days away, bro. Let's go. 14 days away from 13 days away from that. And then Rick, we've got high school tomorrow night.
That's
finally.
Right.
High school tomorrow night, week 0 for college, and then off we go.
It's here, man. Yeah, we'll have the Blacksburg game for you here on the channel tomorrow night. Landon Weaver and Richard Terry on the call. We got everything put together yesterday. So we're looking forward to that. Yeah, that's great.
Congratulations, Rick, on getting that on the channel, man. The channel's starting. You're getting some tentacles out here, man. I love it, man. That's great stuff.
Well, I'm proud to say we are the first of our kind here in this region with high school football being on YouTube. Yes, at least in terms of an audio broadcast. So
that's fantastic. Do you think it can become basketball down the road? You seeing that for high school basketball?
It could.
I know football's a little different, but
it is. Yeah. If you got the kind of support in the community, yeah, you could. It could happen. Sure. Yeah. I'm not going to.
Anything's possible.
Don't put any limitations, right? Just go out and try things and see what happens.
I love it. There you go. That's right. There's my guy for sure.
All right, so the NFL is going to focus. Now, I'm glad you brought this. I'm glad you had this on your talking points because I wasn't really sure what it said. It says that they're going to focus discipline on 5 health and safety fouls, which kind of makes me go, uh-oh. More flags.
Yeah. Well, I had to look this over too because it was one of those where I was thinking, is this going to be something that's going to be that we're going to like, or is it going to be something we're going to go, why the heck did they screw it up and do this, right, Rick? And so it's what's interesting to me is the fact that they're now going to the question that you and I will end up having to unpack throughout the season. Is this more policing that we think is going to be good, or is it going to be more of a detriment to what the league's going to try to do? And a lot of it is going to be involved around trying to clean up the egregious acts on multiple bases, right? And so what's going to be what I think they're going to try to do is like the crackback block, I think, is one. The defenseless player is one where it's if you do it X amount of times throughout the season, it'll result in a suspension. Is what they're trying to do. And I think what it sounds like they're trying to do to me, Rick, is they're trying to create a situation where they're going to put it in their people's minds early on so that when they then have to come in and then make a decision on whether a player has been egregious, they can point back to this and say, well, guess what? We told you that this was going to be one of the situations we were going to focus on the most. And so I it's more to come on it. I saw it as a talking point, and I thought, I'm not sure exactly what they're trying to to make out of it other than to say that this is one of those. But Rick, we've seen this before. Remember years ago when they said pass interference is egregious. We're going to focus on it. Well, they start the season with these points of emphasis. It's really the point I'm getting to. Points of emphasis. They start them. But Rick, you know, you do college basketball too. They'll start the season and say things like freedom of movement. You know, we're going to focus on removing the physicality of play. And for the first 30 days of the season, 10, 12 games, 11 games, you'll see, oh boy, this is going to take some adjusting. Around about December, what ends up happening, Rick? It comes back to the median a little bit. And so I feel in the sense that some of that's going to be what's going to be the main course on that thing. But I think it's to me, it's going to be real important to recognize that at this particular point, they're going to pay attention to these 5 health and safety fouls. And so I've got them pulled up here. The hip drop tackle, the horse collar tackle, launching, hit on a defenseless player, and a blindside block. And so, again, the statement from the NFL and the Players Association says, quote, it announced that greater emphasis will be placed on those 5 rules violations that affect player and health safety. Anybody who commits 3 of these 5 offenses during a season will get a 1-game suspension. So if you get a hip drop tackle in week 2, hey, now you've got the rest of the season to not get a hit on a defenseless player, a blindside block, a launching. Now the challenge would be if the determination of it that you imagine week 13 when you see a guy, all of a sudden he's got 2 issues, and next week they're going to play Niners for a first, and the referee deems it launching, and after further review, the play is upheld, and now you got a situation where you got that. So the whole policing of it is going to be one where this is why I'm saying if this is going to have any teeth at all, Rick, it's going to have to be where referees turn the other way. But the problem with it is the eye in the sky is going to police them. And so you got this kind of thing that's going to be really, really tough for these physical teams. I mean, the hip drop tackle, I think all of us would agree that one's probably as egregious as anything. So, but it doesn't mean it won't happen because a guy in a desperation to try to save a game, it's going to happen because they're football players, by God. And so it can start up high. You can end up sliding down. It ends up like, I got to get this guy on the ground. Derrick Henry's a monster. I'm doing all I can. And so that's where it's going to get dicey for me, Rick. Again, what we're going to have to see here is how they're going to start to emphasize this. But again, with all due respect to their efforts to want to do it, it is football. And I get a feeling that more people are going to be bothered by this than enhanced by this. That's 100%. Going to be the big problem. That's going to be the big problem.
And this is what they keep doing under Goodell. They keep trying to do things like this. It's almost like they're apologizing for being a physical sport.
100%.
Now, I'm not saying I'm condoning some of those things. The horse collar is a very dangerous play, but I don't think half the officials know what the hip drop tackle even looks like. They let it go sometimes, and sometimes it looks like that wasn't much. You're right. Yep. And it's going to come down to that discretion. You got a big game the next week for a playoff berth. Oh, wait a minute. We've got 2 starters suspended for a game because, I mean, it's just
because of week 1 and week 2, you know, stuff that you can't even remember happening. You start saying, man, this is the kind of thing that's just it's dicey. It's dicey. That is dicey. So I'm sure this won't be the last time we'll be talking about this during the football season when someone's sitting on 2 violations. And think about this, Rick. It's week 17 and it's a must-play game. And I know you've got week 18 coming. And a guy gets suspended because of a launching at the end of a game, and he can't play the first week of the playoffs. Now, let's see if it's carry over to the playoffs. I haven't read enough to know if that's going to be the case. But I promise you, this is one of those things that's going to be a lot of it's going to flare up a lot of issues. It's going to be sparking up quite a bit during the season. You can believe that. Thanks for the content, NFL.
Yeah, exactly. Yikes. It succeeds in spite of the people running it. Yeah. The NCAA and the NFL, we now have boundaries, don't we? Players can now no longer go back and forth once they declare for the draft. The SEC made a big proclamation. I guess that means anybody who was in is out now. I don't know how that's going to work with LSU, but something that is common sense, David, it just frustrates me so much. This is released as a declaration of, yeah, look what we're doing. Well, this should have been a no-brainer. Nobody should have even entered this conversation, right? And yet here we are having to produce a statement that this isn't good.
It's almost like saying, hey, the fire's in the building. Should I leave?
It might be hot.
It falls under that category. But clearly, the disclaimers that you see on television all the time when they do ads that you go, why are they saying don't try this at home? Of course, I'm not going to drive off a cliff. Well, this is one of those where they're saying you've got to give a disclaimer for everything these days because folks are finding ways to come back to college to get this free cash. It's really what's starting to happen. And so the NCAA and these conferences have had to come in and say, so sorry, we're not going to allow you back under these parameters. Now, depending on who you believe, this will stand up as long as a lawyer doesn't get involved and get an injunction that will circumvent this thing because of this fifth-year rule thing that has just become, boy, this season can't end fast enough and it hadn't even started yet for these 2022 players who got missed in this. What really should have happened, Rick, is they should have let the 2022 players just get the fifth year. They shouldn't have made an example out of them when they made this 5 for 5. They should have just said, you two will get, there's no having to draw a line in the sand here. I know they were trying to, but this is where this has come from. But shout out to the conferences for saying, we're not just going to allow you to go to an NFL training camp or an NBA camp and come back here and play. Now college basketball's got its own stuff going on. European players, Rick, that have played, there's some looseness in that. I'm not sure how they're going to police that, whether they played in Euro leagues and things of that nature. So there's a grayness in that thing. This is where I'm always nervous about them feeling like they've done something until they can get to court, because that's what's holding up the whole, what you want to call it, the College Act. All these things has everything to do with the fact, Rick, that there is legalese in this and that the NCAA has to start to unionize these players and make them employees, Rick, because you can't just say you can't do this and you keep all the money. And the players are sitting there and don't. So the truth is somewhere in between. It's really what it is. But it is so loose right now that all these, I've said it before, all these perceived brilliant minds can't figure it out. You've got all this pot of gold. I heard Burn Up yesterday talk about it. The greatest doggone sport is college football. So unique in its own way. And they can't figure out how to manage the golden goose at all. And but I, on the surface, I'm thrilled with somebody at least saying, whether it can stand up or not, you're not going to the NFL on Saturday and coming back to LSU on Thursday and be eligible to play. We just can't do it, Rick, because once you allow that to happen, where does it end? What's coming next? I mean, you find this thing to be one where folks will just be like, well, if they're not going to do anything, I'll just double dip, right? And so I'm thrilled that they are doing it. I saw what Big 12 last night did. I think the SEC and Big 10. Big 10 was way ahead, as I heard you say yesterday, right? They were out in front of that thing. So we will see, Rick. But I'm thrilled that, and then the NFL's also said, oh, if you go back down, you're not coming back up.
Yeah, you're not coming back. You're done.
Yes. Yeah. So we're not going to have that swinging door. You come here, we think you want to be here. This is a destination. This isn't an alternative. This is big boy stuff here, and we're going to call our shot here. So. But it just figures that Lane Kiffin, if it's going to be about players and movement and controversy, God bless LSU, man. They've taken him in, and then they've got Will Wade on the basketball side, who just blew out of NC State after 1 year too. So the LSU administration has got themselves a couple of keepers down there with Will Wade and Lane Kiffin. Yes, sir.
The Cleveland Browns announced one of the most unpopular decisions, at least I saw from social media and fans, that they could make. I don't think there's it's a low bar, but I'm not sure there's a more poorly run franchise in the NFL than the Cleveland Browns. And Deshaun Watson, given everything and the horrible comments he made last week, well, he's now your starter, Cleveland, so you better learn to love him. He's back, and it just goes to speak how poorly they've drafted. This is why everybody, when they made the trade, right? This is what, right? Come back to this, David. Everybody, Myles Garrett, the Browns, boy, they did a great. No, they don't. They have no idea how to draft, and they don't have anybody in the weeds. So it has to be Deshaun Foster. They're stuck to him with that horrible, all-inclusive contract.
Horrible.
Here, your money's guaranteed, and now he's the starter. Yay.
Yeah, listen, there's not a lot more to add to what you just now eloquently said, but I'm going to add to it anyway, because, the contract is the contract. At this particular point, he's a made man on the deal. He hadn't proven to be excellent on the field anyway, Rick. He hadn't proven to be excellent anyway. He gave you a reason to not trot him out there. You could have just simply said, we're going to go with Shedeur. And you could have simply said, I was of the mindset after that press conference on Saturday, I thought they would send him home. I thought they would just say, you know what? You should just, this is too much for you. Let's just send you home. Because, Rick, he's a free agent after this year. You're certainly not going to re-up him. He gets booed in a half-empty stadium in a preseason game. Instead of saying, I got to do better, he gives the woe is me. Like, he's so tone deaf. I remind people all the time on this program and others, he was not that guy when he came out of Clemson. He was so beloved in Houston. Stuff with the cafeteria workers, donating his time and money. He was an MVP candidate and a charm off the field. But just like Justin Tucker with the Ravens, who has not been picked up since the Ravens let him go. And people need he's top 3 percentage kicker of all time. Same situation. They're like, we don't need that smoke from a kicker. We don't need it. And certainly the quarterback who's the eye of the franchise, Rick, who pretty much said, I'm not ashamed of anything I've done. You're not ashamed of anything. The most tone deaf thing ever.
I know.
Whoever his PR guys are, there are none, aren't giving him anything to chew on that's worth this. And Cleveland fans, who all they want, Rick, is a shot. They just want a chance. And you're not going to be great this year either way. You're not going to be great this year either way. You might as well see what you've got with Shedeur, because let's say Deshaun Watson plays well. What are you going to do? If he plays worthy enough to be a top 5 player in the AFC, are you going to re-sign him and have more of that? Is that what you're trying to do? You've given him more than enough money. So I don't know how this is going to land. Thank God for Cleveland. I heard Monken even say this. We're on the road for the first 2 games. And so
that's right.
I'm thinking to myself, that what kind of energy is that for the building? Hey, we're going to play him, but thankfully we're on the road the first 2 games. Thankfully we're on the road the first 2 games. That's just you work all off season. You think about the other side of the football, Rick. Those guys are working their tail like all over the league. They're working their tail off and like, we got to saddle up to this. Now, the only thing I did hear this comment this week that I'll be interested in knowing at some point, maybe we will, is does the locker room feel like, and Rick, football players at their very nature, they're about the football. Who's giving us the best chance? Is it one of those where he was just so much better clearly in all the other stuff that maybe he's just the guy? Because Todd Monken, in listening to him, he really doesn't suffer fools lightly. He seemed like the kind of guy that's kind of a straight shooter. So that may mean to me that maybe Shedeur just hasn't been ready enough too, at which point, but where's the Dylan Gabriel in all this? I mean, you picked him.
He's gone. He's gone. He's just gone.
I don't you think, Rick? I mean, are you going to keep all 3 again? Because what has Deshaun proven in the last couple of years? He can't stay healthy. So, Rick, I don't know that he's gone because he, no disrespect to him, but he hadn't finished the season in forever. So, as the world turns with the Cleveland Browns, man, this is after saying I didn't have a lot to add. I don't know that I added anything, but I sure was yelling about it, wasn't I?
Do you think maybe every day, even though we know that he's very secure in being the best defensive player in the NFL, that Myles Garrett walks up to Les Snead, the Rams GM, and just goes, I need to give you one more hug today. Can I give you one more hug today? Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you.
In the beautiful, no humidity, 75-degree California themed weather that he's going to have all the time. And if he doesn't love that, he's going to be playing indoors. So he'd have to deal with all the – listen, to Myles Garrett's credit, Rick, he never really was a huge complainer other than the one time when he ended up getting his deal. But, Rick, no one saw him as being at fault for that. They all were like, man, you got to get up out of here. You're going to have to.
You need to go.
You've got to go. You've done all you can do. You've impacted football as much as an interior defensive player can do. And, Rick, their defense, when you and I used to talk about this, the football team has a good defense. They had a good defense last year. Rick, we would break this stuff down and talk about Cleveland being in the top 5 in points allowed, yardage allowed. Now, you think about that for a moment now. We've talked about that before. Really, really good on defense. And, man, if we can just get this offense going. And so they got all those new offensive weapons at receiver. So, you know what? All right, here's your guy. Show and prove, right, Rick? Show and prove. We're going to see real early. I'm not very confident in it. Prove us wrong, Rick. How about that? Prove us wrong.
Correct. I just want to see all the people who came out, and you saw it too. We talked about it. Hey, the Browns won that trade. Okay.
That's ridiculous.
All right. I can't wait to see will any of them have enough gumption and respect for themselves. Yeah, I almost said something else. Will they have enough of that to say, you know what, we were stupid? Anybody who covers the NFL and can with a straight face put out an article that says the Browns won that trade, you should immediately be disqualified from covering the NFL.
Impossible. And Jared Verse is going to probably have a great season. He's going to probably have a great season, and I don't think anybody's going to confuse him with Myles Garrett, and he would probably be the first to tell you that. So I find it to be very interesting. I don't know who's watching the sport if they think that Cleveland won that trade. A motivated Myles Garrett, he's about to pull a guy out of retirement to go join him.
You're going to bring Aaron Donald. You know what they're going to do too, right? You know what they're waiting on. They're going to announce it the week after the final preseason game.
That'd be perfect.
We've made a roster move.
Who you picked up off of waivers?
There's just some guy. There's just this dude we want to give a shot to.
Yes, they are. Do your thing, Aaron Donald. I am here for it all. I cannot wait to watch it, Rick. Cannot wait to watch it.
Think about the Rams. In the last 10 years, they've had the greatest defensive player in the league, Aaron Donald, and now they have the greatest defensive player in the NFL, and now they're getting ready to put them both together side by side.
Yeah, the fact that you say that twice and it's not the same player. You say
it's
that
not
twice
the same player.
And it's two different players. There you go. And, oh, by the way, you got Matthew Stafford, who has found the fountain of youth and is throwing the ball like he did at 25 years old. And he has just found more juice in his career. I don't think Matthew Stafford's going anywhere for a while. I think he's looking around going, kind of like this California thing a little bit. I might have another year or two in me, too. They'll keep me upright. I'll throw this thing all over the lot. Let's get it. That's exactly right. Exactly right.
Les Snead, kudos to you, my friend. All right.
My guy. He is the guy.
The picks. We're now, I'll tell you what, you rocked the boat. David Smith, ladies and gentlemen, last week has your Dallas Cowboys playing for an NFC Championship game, if I'm not mistaken, as I check my notes, right?
You're right. So those Dallas Cowboys, again, we've had these topics for several weeks now. None of them have been about the Dallas Cowboys. That, to me, is a great thing. I have them against the Rams in the NFC Championship game in L.A. The Cowboys coming through this thing. Let me get it right now. I had them as a 5 seed going to Carolina and winning. Then I have them coming through and going to Philly and beating the Eagles.
All right.
How about that? And now the Cowboys are playing the Rams in L.A. for a chance to play in a pre-Super Bowl conflict where the Super Bowl will be.
Right.
But I draw the line here. This is where the Rams will persevere through. But I will tell you, Rick, it will not be a blowout. I think that the Cowboys are going to – I personally think that they're going to be one of the surprises of the league this year. I just do. I just think that they have fixed that defense on paper. They have gotten enough stuff where they can get enough stops. Listen, don't forget, Dak and his boys on offense last year were not the problem. Very entertaining to watch. They were very, 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 very
right.
They could go. Pickens and CD and all those boys, they were not the problem. I think they're going to play the Rams really, really close in a close NFC Championship game. I think the Rams will just have a little bit more that front that we talked about, assuming Donald and Garrett can stay healthy. I've got the Rams winning that. Not much of a surprise, but the surprise in it is going to be that the Cowboys are going to make a deep run. And so I've got the Rams going to the Super Bowl from the NFC. I got the Bengals and the Bills in the championship game in the AFC. A game's going to be in Buffalo. Cincinnati in an all-or-nothing season are banging this thing out. But I've got Buffalo winning that. I've got Josh Allen finally breaking through. I think back on the Chiefs. Rick, it's going to be real interesting to see what the Chiefs do this season. We'll have more time to unpack this as things go along. Mahomes, if all indications are, he's going to be able to play week 1. I just heard him this week.
Yeah, he's
going to play.
He's running great. He was doing some stuff showing, hey, I'm ready to go. I'm like, yeah, they're going to be fine.
Yeah, you know, you said that with a little skepticism, Rick. Come on, bro.
They're okay.
They're gonna be all right. I think you're right. They're gonna be fine, but I'm not sure that they're gonna be fine enough to win a division that all of a sudden it's not the Chiefs Invitational anymore.
No,
I mean,
it's not.
Denver's going to be in the mix, and I reluctantly had the Bengals sliding by. I said I have the Bengals sliding by your boys. I did. The Bengals sliding by your boys. Yep. So I've got the Bills and the Rams in the Super Bowl this year. Now it'd be really crazy if Joe Brady in his first season as a head coach can take the Buffalo Bills to the Super Bowl. I was really wavering on this Bengals thing because I really feel like that the Bengals are going to be heard from too. And again, all we know is what we know. And so this will be very, very interesting. But I'm going to sign up for Bills, Rams, Super Bowl. Lock it in.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense all the way around. It does. It does.
That would be the Rams being at home for the Super Bowl. And Rick, shout out
at home, right?
Yeah, shout out to NFL in this particular case. They finally have done what they've been needing to do for about 15 years. They punted on the Pro Bowl. Get out of here. So there's no more Pro Bowl, Rick. Of course, some will say it hadn't been a Pro Bowl since Sean Taylor knocked that punter's taste out of his mouth and whatnot. So, Rick, it's just crazy to think about either football was crazy back in the day that they were hitting at the Pro Bowl.
Exactly.
I don't know. Or either they were really crazy. Rick, they used to play. I'm older a little bit than you. Do you remember the college all-star game against the defending NFL champions?
Yeah, and they went balls to the wall, man.
It was playing. It was Franco Harris and those guys.
There's the Steelers playing the college all-star. I know.
They're playing. It's just insane. So either they were really insane then or they're really insane now. I don't know. I think maybe we just all are insane. But the fact that they would hit like that, and they also used to play 6 preseason games. I think they used to play six preseason games. And people would just hit, and it was just absurd. And so, but they're not doing that anymore. And so the Pro Bowl had gotten to be, like all the All-Star games, a figment of our imagination. So especially in football. So they aren't even trying to do the flag anymore. No more of the dodgeballs. Shut it down. What they're going to do is they're going to announce the 88 players, and then they're all just going to convene and have a good kumbaya. Fine. It's still an honor to be elected to the Pro Bowl. I still think that you should, because that's an award. That's an accomplishment to be named to it. There's just not a game that you got to qualify now. So if you're a first team or if you're a second team, all those things are going to still be worthy of your opportunity to earn your bonuses and things of that nature. So good, because it's unwatchable, Rick. Even though it still gets ratings, I'm amazed that people were still watching that, because as much as I love football, I couldn't watch the Pro Bowl. I could not watch that. It's not football. Yeah. And for teams who made the Super Bowl, they typically have players on the Pro Bowl, and then you get alternates in there. But they've done that for years, and it's been fine. So it's cool to name them and just move on from it. No more game. And so shout out to NFL for getting that part right anyway.
Yeah. I would argue they created that part, but yes. Yeah, you're right. Get rid of it. Nobody cared about it in any way.
No. In terms of the game itself was, they brought the Mannings in to try to get some juice to it. But listen,
it was so bad.
Nobody, you can put, a contest throwing footballs. NFL, by the time the season ends in the NFL, and see, that's the other thing about their all-star game. It's at the end of a season. See, baseball and basketball, at least it's in the middle of the season. Hockey, when the football season ends, to try to get those guys to come back and want to do anything, those guys are, and listen, football gives you everything. But when it's over, Rick, those guys are done.
They're done. Hawaii, they're done. They threw the nugget of Hawaii out there as the thing to get them to go.
Take the family. Take the family.
We'll pay for it. We'll pay for it.
No, what they're making now, they're saying it still ain't worth it.
Not worth it.
It still ain't worth it. Not at all.
All right, well, good stuff, my friend. Enjoy the last weekend of preseason ball, and we'll see what your Super Bowl champion is going to look like next week. Right.
Yeah, we'll get at it, brother, next week, and we'll starting to pick some of these games, man. Next week we'll have to do it, because by the time I ride back on this following Thursday,
that's right,
the Wednesday game will have happened. So maybe we'll pick the Wednesday game next week, and then we'll save the other picks for Thursday, because at that point Thursday, we'll be able to be on point. Yes, sir.
Yeah, good call.
Ready.
All right, brother. Take care. Enjoy college football this weekend.
You got it, man. I'll be watching. See you, bro.
All right, man. Take care. There you go. David Smith, our NFL analyst, Radford University Hall of Famer. Great stuff as always from Dave. How about that? Rams and Bills. Makes sense on multiple levels. I think the Rams are the more universally accepted team by as many people as I've ever seen that believe they're going to go to the Super Bowl. They've got everything they need. Andy Bitter from Tech Sideline, and then Dwight Vick. Coming up. Go Browns. They're the only, I didn't see it, but somebody posted who covers the Browns. They're the only organization who could release the plans for their new stadium, and when they announced it was plastic, had more down votes than up votes. Hey, Look at this $2 billion. Oh, by the way, look at this new plastic grass we're putting in. You impressed with that? Because we know the players hate it, so why not go with it? You remember, they drafted Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. And now Deshaun Watson is back in his walk year to be the starter for a fan base who hates him. This after they made the decision to hire Todd Monken, who ended up being the final straw for Myles Garrett. The way I saw, what would you say, 2-15? Maybe. Yikes. Joining us now on the program from Texas Online, he is the lead football writer. He's Andy Bitter. What's up, AB? Good morning.
How you doing?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. Just talking about the continued demise of the Cleveland Browns.
Demise. I mean, that suggests that there was some sort of period of success that they're falling from. I feel like it's been
back the 80s. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, but then they left, and ever since they've been reconstituted as a team, they've been just horrible. Like, I guess there was a playoff here and there, like once or twice, maybe, right?
Yeah.
It's rough.
Hey, what's up with the battle for the third running back? What'd you learn this week? You had a busy week, man. You got to see a lot of stuff, didn't you?
Yeah, I think, we got some clarity about some things. Bill Davis does not seem to be ready quite yet. I'm assuming he's injured. They won't tell us if he's injured, but he's been out. Hasn't been practicing the last couple times we've been out there. Messiah Mickens, Tyler Mason battling for that third running back spot, which I guess if you're, vying for the number 3 spot, you feel pretty good about your running backs. The top 2 are solidified at this point. I'd be surprised if that third guy plays a ton, but I think there's a room for a third person to get carries in this offense. So that'll be interesting, a little informative about exactly who's available right now. But I feel like most of the top of the depth chart is probably close to set at this point.
Yeah, that feels like it's become a real position of strength, doesn't it? At least on paper going into the season, the running back position.
Yeah, when everybody's healthy.
Yeah.
That's always a spot where injuries happen and you can never tell. But, right now on paper, everybody's healthy. It looks pretty good. And, historically, James Franklin has, utilized, 2 backs pretty well and give them a good share of carries. So I think we're going to see both Marcellus Hawkins and Jeffrey Overton quite a bit.
So that third guy, it's very important, isn't it? Yeah, he's going to get an opportunity probably. 2 guys are playing a lot to give some a blow from time to time. So, yeah, it makes sense. That makes sense. That's got to be right. That third guy has to be right. So, the captain selection process, we talked about it a lot here. Not that what they did was wrong, but there's a lot of different opinions on it. We've had a couple coaches on it, so they like to do it week by week. Nick Saban was famous for picking guys week by week. James Franklin's named guys for the year. What did you learn? I know you had a conversation about that, or he had a conversation about that.
Yeah, it sounds like, everybody has their say on this. Everybody on the staff and equipment guys, trainers, everybody gets a vote on this thing, coaches, players. I think that's a good way to do it. That way, everybody's involved in choosing this. It's not just players or, popularity contest among them. It's everybody giving their input. So I think that's a fair way of doing it. They chose a lot of them. They have 6. I think some teams go with 2 or 4 or something like that. 6 gives you a lot of people that can look over the team and speak when they need to, and a fair number that they can send out for the opening coin toss every day. They can rotate them if they want. And I don't know. Just because you're not a captain doesn't mean you can't go out for the coin toss too. So I don't know exactly how they'll do that, but I think 6. I mean, these teams are huge. It's like 110 guys on the team. 6 captains makes sense. You don't need 2 captains when it's like that. So I think the proportion makes sense. His explanation of the whole thing made sense. And I don't know. Do people have an issue with it?
No, it was interesting how they just talked about, like Coach Elmo and Todd Grant each week. Nick Saban was big on having guys earn it, and then the team would vote on it at the end of the week, right? Just extra motivation for their team.
Okay. Yeah.
It was just one or the other that they, it was just a different philosophy.
Yeah, I think there's probably still a way that you can incorporate something like that where you're getting input every week. I think it's interesting. I think the best players on the team aren't necessarily the captains of this one.
That's right. That's right.
Kamari Copeland, Jaquez White, Quayshawn Brown, Aiden Green, Luke Reynolds, however you rank the top players on this team, none of those guys are captains. Perhaps Caleb Spencer, Ethan Grunkemeyer are the closest to to some of the top players on the team as being captains here. So it's a good subsection of the team, and not necessarily just based on skill level. And to me, that at least says that these players and everybody else on the team took the voting seriously and didn't just go, well, this guy's the best player, let's put him out there.
The message this week to the BOV, the same thing about money. Did you get a better feel for how much money is they want? I mean, you never put a number on it. Did you get are they closer? Are they more? I mean, did you get any kind of info other than just saying we need more? And James Franklin reiterated that again.
No, not really. I think that they weren't very specific with the numbers. I actually didn't get to the second part because it was the same time as football practice. So David Cunningham went over for that. I handled the football part of it. The first day was just sort of retreat, just sort of Brian White introducing himself to the BOV, and James Franklin stopped by, made a statement that apparently irked a bunch of Penn State fans again. They're like, oh, he's asking for more money. It's like, yeah, that's the name of the game now. It's asking for more money. You can't just sit there and be content with what you have. You're going to have to push people for stuff. And, it makes sense to push people when it's the money people that are there, the BOV members. But I don't want to typecast this group, but they're a bunch of rich people, right?
Well,
they're rich, powerful people.
No, you're right.
These are the people to talk to when you need more money for stuff. So the Penn State fans just need to get over it. They need to move on. Every time it happens, it gets in the jet stream on Twitter. They just pop in with their dumb comments, and it's just like, let it go, man. Like, you don't like him, I get it, but this is the way he is. This is the way he's going to be. This is the way he has always been. He's going to push for things, and if you don't like it, just quit paying attention, because Virginia Tech fans like it right now. They enjoy the fact that they have a coach that is pushing people in the administration to get as much as he can.
Well, we'll see. If winning follows, then that message will be resoundingly received, right? If the wins don't start, then it'll be an interesting response to that.
Right. It's one thing when it's year 12 and they're still making all these different demands. It's another thing if it's year 1 and this is sort of what you signed up for. This is the reason you hire a guy like this. And this has been a wayward program the last 15 years. Ever since I started covering the team, it's been, not as great as it has been. And, a big part of that is funding. And I don't want to say people asleep at the switch, but, it's just sort of, faded a little bit. You talk about the Browns and how they've gone downhill. Well, I don't know if they have, but Virginia Tech has. Virginia Tech used to be at a much higher place in the college football pecking order, and it's fallen off a bit. And they needed somebody to get them back into that shape. And this is, what James Franklin is doing. And people might not like it. It might be uncomfortable sometimes or grating at times, but I think that's what the program needed, is somebody to come in and be a truth teller about some of this stuff.
All right. Wayne's asking, did they officially do away with the 25 jersey numbers? Is that done?
I don't know. Brent Pry did it, and I haven't heard anything to say that they're not going to do it. So I would think that they're going to still do it. It feels like it's something that's maybe running its course a bit. It's not as, when they first started, it was like a week-to-week thing that was like a big deal. And now it kind of happens, and I just scroll past it on Twitter. And I used to write like a story about it every week, and now It's like, okay, this guy's getting it for the third time or something like that. I think they will continue to do it, but it's lost a little bit of its luster, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And the lunch pail's still intact, correct?
Yes.
He's
Oh,
asking-
absolutely. That
Okay.
came back and is in full force.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. Well, all right. We got to get Hayes. It's basically in the barn with starters. Keep him healthy for VMI. It's not a very exciting lead up to a game week, other than the fact it is James Franklin's opener. They announced the sellout, but we do have football this weekend. The last weekend of week 0. I talked about it with Teal yesterday. I'm gonna miss week 0 a little bit. I mean, I understand why they're going to week 1, but especially this year for us here regionally, we got 2 pretty good games here to keep an eye on this weekend with Carolina and the NC State Virginia game,
Yeah, it'll be fun. You always like that doubling game. So you wake up, you're like, oh, there's
I know
on at this point.
It's grass.
This is great. Yeah, and this year I'm sort of torn about which team that I want to see lose. It's less which team I want to see win. It's more which team I want to see lose.
Right.
Because I don't want to root for a Belichick coach team. Like he's just, I don't know. That whole program is kind of a joke right now, and it's just such a mess that it's fun to watch them just struggle. But then TCU just banned a reporter from covering their team and going to the game for doing his job. From what I gather, I don't know. There's some.
You look like
I haven't looked too deep into this thing, but banning a reporter for anything that they report on because you don't like the content of it is just a weak move. So I can't get on TCU's side of this. So maybe I root for the Irish fans to storm the field in a drunken mess or something like that. I don't know. Root for some kind of chaos or for both teams to look really bad in that game. But that one's a strong thoughts about both teams. And then UVA NC State, I think, could be a really good game just because, as I said many times, their schedules are very easy. This is one of the toughest games for both of them.
Yep.
And I think whoever wins this is going to be situated very well in the ACC. And I don't think people realize it now because they just think the schedules are all sort of the same. But I'm going to keep harping on that. Like, go look at their schedules and see what a win here could do to them, setting them up for later in the season.
Yeah, I just love the fact that it got pushed to a conference game with the 9-game conference schedule. I hated that whole non-conference stuff.
Yeah, that was weird. I mean, I like that some teams did it, though, because it just showed the conference how stupid their setup was.
Well, that's true, too.
And how infrequently these teams are playing. It's like, okay, we're conference opponents. We don't play like once every 7 years. Like, what are we doing? What is the point of this? I thought it was a little strange. They're like, we're going to outsource this game to Brazil. And then that obviously fell apart. I don't know if you need to play the game in Brazil. I think Ireland is kind of cool, and there's been a history of doing that. Brazil is taking a next step. Like even the NFL has had trouble in Brazil, where I remember they're like, don't wear green to this game because it's like a game color down here. It's like, well, you have the Eagles versus the Packers. How can you tell them not to wear green to that game? So, there's some logistical stuff with Brazil that I think they need to iron out. Maybe keep it a little bit closer. Canada, and Ireland, and some of the places they've played before.
Yeah, I agree with that. Brian asking, hey, AB, is there a dark horse team, not the Hokies, that you like on your radar in the ACC this year?
Dark horse team. Yeah, I think maybe teams people are underlooking a little bit. Cal interests me.
Me too.
Yes, they've got that quarterback, JKS. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name here on the air.
No.
New coach, kind of a wild card. I think you never know. And if you have a quarterback like that goes from his freshman to his sophomore year, where he starts as a true freshman, he's a 5-star guy. There's a pedigree there. I think that just raises the ceiling of your team tremendously.
Yeah, agreed.
And there's a wild card notion with the coach. You don't know what you're going to get. So, like, he could be great. What if he's just like a fantastic coach and he just whips those guys into shape immediately? It's a weird place, Cal, going out there to play on the West Coast. I think that's going to be a really tough one for the Hokies, honestly, a night game traveling across country like that. Well, presumably a night game. I think they always play night games at Cal. That might be one to watch out for. And I don't think a lot of people know about Cal. It's just kind of an oddity out there on the West Coast that they don't have a deep knowledge of the roster. Not that I do, but I think the roster is better than people think. Other one, maybe Pitt. I know we always kind of, Pat Narduzzi, he's going to finish 500 in the ACC, and he might very well do that again. But when he has a quarterback, they always have a pretty good defense. They're always sort of a tough-nosed team. You know how they're going to play. They're
Yeah,
gonna just,
absolutely.
man up on you on defense and dare you to beat you deep. But that's effective sometimes. They were a pretty good team last year, and had a streak of success there that I think people overlooked a bit. So those are two teams that I think are maybe not getting enough credit in this preseason poll, and enough people aren't looking at them. But it's the ACC, so literally anything could happen because it seems to happen every single season.
Yeah, I'm with you on Cal, and whatever seriousness people take with portal class rankings, they were looked at as having one of the strongest ones, top 15 in the country. So they spent a lot of money. It's hard to believe Cal's kind of positioning itself as they moved, this idiotic move to take two teams into the ACC from the West Coast that over Stanford, because Stanford's been the perennial best program, but not now. It doesn't feel like it. So
yeah, and they might take offense at that. Those two schools do not like each other. That's for sure.
Very, very true. Wayne, different Wayne, not Wayne from Ohio. Wayne asks, AB, beside linebackers, what's your biggest position of concern throughout Tech's roster in terms of its depth? Thanks, Wayne. Appreciate that.
Depth, and maybe safety is a concern, I think. There's not necessarily guys there that have played a ton that I feel comfortable with. Tyson Flowers, I think, is a great leader out there. I don't know if he's a great tackler out there. I think so. There's some question marks about him, as a starter. Behind them is pretty young guys. O-line. I'll keep going back to the O-line until I see it as a finished product and that they're good and they're keeping players off the quarterback and rolling with that again. I think it's been a problematic spot for the last couple of years. And it sounds like Logan Howland is not quite all the way back yet. So you're talking about, Terry Smith at left tackle and then four other starters that have been on the roster before. So they talk about all these transfers they're bringing on the offensive line. You're going to start four guys that were on the roster previously. Now some of them were hurt last year, Montavious Cunningham, Brody Meadows, but you're banking a lot of internal improvement from a group that, frankly wasn't very good last year. So I think that's still a large concern for me, and that should be a large concern for the Hokies, because if your O-line is not good, that really hampers everything your offense can do.
Tim asks, AB, any update you're feeling about which apparel company Tech's going to finally sign with? Probably next week, I guess, maybe.
Somebody that will pay them more than $2 million a year. I don't know who that's going to be. I think Nike in their contract has the right to match any offer or something like that. It's a pretty strict contract that they've had previously, and that's why it was so tough for Virginia Tech to extricate itself from that. And also, if you're doing negotiations in the past, what really was Virginia Tech's leverage? It wasn't a popular brand at that point. You didn't have a dynamic personality in charge of the Hokies. It's like if you're going into a negotiation, you don't have much leverage now. All of a sudden you do, where there's some excitement around it. And James Franklin's leading the program. They're investing all this stuff. You think the program is going to be back on the rise. But I don't really know, how competitive some of these bids are going to be. So I'm very curious to see what it comes out at. I don't think it's going to be $20 million a year or something like that, but it certainly can be better than what it has been, because they've had, frankly, the worst apparel contract in major college sports the last 10 years. It's just been bad. I think Nike sort of took advantage of the situation with Virginia Tech previously.
I agree.
They negotiated that contract with Jim Weaver, who was, in poor health. I feel like they sort of took advantage of a person who was in a tough spot with his job. And that has just been, signed over and over again and extended by Whit Babcock, who I think could have done a better job of trying to, play some of these companies against each other. But I think if you're doing it, you have to be serious about leaving. You can't just kind of be half in, half out. You have to be like, no, we're actually going to take it to Adidas. I don't know how much people at Virginia Tech wanted to do that previously, but Brian White, I think, is serious about looking at every revenue stream. And if they have to leave to go to Adidas, he's dealt with them in the past when he was
Right.
at Florida Atlantic. I don't think he minds it. So, more money is the name of the game, and this is one way to bring in some more.
And his brother, or university, Tennessee's an Adidas school, right? I mean,
Yeah, I know fans are going to have strong opinions about that. I don't know if I do necessarily. I mean, the uniforms, be like, oh, they ruined Penn State's uniforms. I'm like, they're just blue and white. How much could they ruin them? They didn't. Yeah, it's not like the design is completely different. It's the most old school looking uniform possible. That it feels like that one's a tough one to screw up. But there are people out there that will vow that they screwed it up, and I don't know. I guess I don't have an eye for that.
Yeah, but Adidas is making a play. They've got some pretty big properties, so it might not be the worst thing for Tech if that ends up being the case. So I kind of like it. So we'll see. What do you think? They finally look like they're going to crack down on all this, going to the pros and then going back to college. Boy, who knew, right? What do you think?
I think it's just another filing in all these lawsuits. You're going to come up with a rule that's going to prevent us from doing this? That sounds like a restraint of trade. Let's go to court over it. So now all these individual conferences are just going to get sued instead of the NCAA. And again, I'm not a lawyer on this stuff, but I think, you muck it up in the legal system long enough, you do it long enough, you can play during the season. That doesn't matter after that. And, the NCAA invited this process. So, I don't like pros coming back to the college or guys that were cut in training camp from coming back from college, but the NCAA could have passed this 5-for-5 thing in the winter, and they could have given some clarity to these 2022 athletes that, everybody else has got an extra year except this class, and they could have done it in January. They could have done it in April before the draft. And they didn't. And it left a bunch of these players with no choice. Like, okay, my eligibility is exhausted. I'm going to go to the pros, and if I don't make it there, then I'm done. Well, now it would make sense that they would have gotten an extra year if they would have passed this thing earlier than June. So I can't fault these players for trying to come back and at the highest earning potential of their life, trying to get another year when everybody else has got another year for this whole thing. So there are no angels in this whole thing. I think everybody is kind of on the wrong side of this issue. Certainly,
right.
Certainly Lane Kiffin and the people at LSU that are just LSU took a basketball player from 2 years ago. That dude needs to go get a job. Come on, enough. I don't like it, but I maybe have a little bit of sympathy for people like Daquan Wright, who's just one of those tweener players, not quite an NFL player, but did not have the 5 years of college like everybody else will have. If you're an NBA guy, he went pro 2 years ago, signed a 2-way contract, was involved in an NBA trade at some point, and now you're coming back to college. Shouldn't you have a little bit of shame about that? Shouldn't LSU have a little bit of shame? And I know there are 3 big time coaches down there, Mulkey and Lane Kiffin and Will Wade. None of them have an ounce of shame. So I should be surprised that is the school pushing this whole thing. But I don't know. I wish it would just end. I'm so tired of the lawsuits and stuff. I'm ready to cover some games.
I know.
Talk about the actual product on the field. This just seems like it's just never ending.
Never ends.
BS in the courts, and I'm tired of it.
Well, along those lines, before we head out, Steve asks, hey, I've heard you mention on this show a lot that, hey, Saturday, Andy, are you getting off your couch at all at any point on Saturday watching college football?
Well, yeah, I've got to get beer from the garage. Of course,
come on.
I don't have some sort of Rube Goldberg type machine to deliver me beer to my couch. Maybe I need to design one of those in the next day or something like that, so I don't need to get up.
Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be minimal movement. I'm not going to, it's not like today's the day we clean out the garage. No, that's not on the docket. It's going to be a full day of football. I kind of wish there were a few more week 0 games. I guess next year, next year that'll be the case. They'll be covered one. So I have to enjoy this while we have the moment.
That's right. 100%. All right, what do you got coming up for peeps on the site here this weekend? What do you got?
Probably going to do another 10 things column. People seem to like that the first time.
That's
so
great.
I'm going to try to incorporate that into the rotation here. And then, season starts next week. It's regular game week, and we'll see how that goes under Franklin.
going to be great. It's going to be great. All right, brother. Thanks, man. Great stuff as always. Enjoy the weekend. I know you will. All
right. Talk to you later.
All right, man. Take care. There you go. Andy Bitter. Good stuff. Yeah, you got to get off the couch to get more beer. Dwight Vick coming up a little bit later on. Good questions as always for AB. Thanks to Family Fencing, sponsor of our studio. Reach out to them to get a free quote at 540-200-8294. Mark Hundley, McClellan Chiropractic, 155 Walters Drive. Mark is really good at what he does. And thanks, everybody who went back and rewatched our video. It's gotten over 750 views. That's awesome. That's awesome. We're presented each and every day by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Great to see Tim Miller this week. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg. You see the blue and black truck and vans everywhere. The attorney, Ryan Pry, down in Radford, 701 West Main Street, Trust and Estate Planning. You can't trust anyone anymore with your trusts and estate planning than Ryan Pry. Anyway, the BDST fan question of the week's been really good. We've gotten over 60 votes. Best NFL coach. Not going to give it away. We got a good competition. I'll just say it that way. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner, BDST, and YouTube. Professional Door Incorporated, sponsor of our text line. Travis Williams, 40 years in business, 674-0008. ReadySetFund.com, BobChrist11 at Gmail. Reach out to Bob, ask him questions directly, or check out Ready Set Fund. They're awesome. Sundown Electric, one of the best electrical companies in our region, down in Ellison. The Smith Brothers, great logo. People want a T-shirt with that logo. Go see them. They have them. 540-382-5525. Leagues are forming now, and they need more help at the Super Bowl with the kids' leagues, and go do that through September the 12th. And Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, 300 on Franklin Street in Christiansburg. James, been a Tech fan his whole life. Since 1997, he's had his business up and running, helping out folks in their home. 381-8011, thanks to Top Shelf Apparel and all those cool people. Appreciate that. Good stuff. No popping tonight. I will be working. I have a women's soccer game, Coach Mabry. I will miss you. I will miss you. What did I miss here in chat? Dwight Vick at the top of the hour. The attorney, there it is, Ryan Price, a Penn State fan. If I'm not mistaken, you grew up right there near the stadium. I can't help but chuckle. Franklin hasn't played a game yet, already making excuses, and they're clearly deficit spending. That I have heard. Yes, the deficit spending is a real thing. But I annoy Tech fans if I say that, so have fun with that. Morris says, agree, Ryan. Franklin needs to produce. He's got money. Good recruiting, transfer portal. Put up or shut up at this point. And that's right. And that's what I think it comes down to. If Franklin wins, nothing's going to matter surrounding his aura. If he doesn't win, then it all changes. And that's what this comes down to. Tech fans not going to care. Heck, they're giving him free run. Most Tech fans are just accepting everything that he's doing and saying verbatim as, and it's what Andy said, because things were so bad that they're willing to just let this guy come in who's done this at two other places and do it his way. He's not winning friends over there, but he doesn't care. He's trying to get things done. And if he can do that and then they win, then everything's going to fall into place and there won't be any criticism. If he doesn't win, or if it's mediocre, is that going to perpetuate his constant demands? That's going to be interesting. And Penn State fan does chime in, and they do so quite often. And I don't believe it's because they're pining away to have James Franklin back. They experienced all this when he was there for 11 years. Now, I don't know why they continue to care at this point, but that was a long relationship, right? I think you got to look at it in your own personal life. If you have a relationship and let's say you break up with your girlfriend after 10 years and you thought you had a future, then it's going to feel a little more tough than if it's only 6 months or a year or two. You got a lot invested, a lot of shared history. So I think a lot of it is that coming from Penn State fan more than it is they're not wishing he were back. But Tech saying, hey, we'll eagerly take this because look how bad it was. And I don't think anybody, now that we have it kind of in context, a contextual history of how just Whit Babcock, I'm just going to say it. You may not like it, and people over there may not like it. Whit Babcock let this program go to complete crap. Is that wrong? Is that wrong? Look at the lack of money. Look at the Hail Mary before he finally was shown the door. Oh, I'm sorry, before he finally retired. To say that we need this amount of money, blah, 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 blah. You hired Brent Pry as your head coach. You were the only football program in the country that was considering hiring Brent Pry as your head coach. It failed miserably. We'll talk to Dwight Vick about this coming up. So it was at the bottom. You know what stayed at the top was the fans, which is what excites me. I'm glad to have so many friends who either are season ticket holders, who are grads, who grew up passionate. I'm glad to see them excited again because on Saturday they would come up and they would say and be like, yeah, who do we play this week? You're just like, I know. And to Andy's point, now that there's new people all around and there's a new mindset, if it produces the results that Franklin's had at other places, then everything's going to be hunky-dory. And many of you have said this from the get-go in chat. You've said, hey, look, if they win, nothing else is going to matter, and that is 100% correct. It puts more of an onus on Franklin, but I don't think he minds. He knows that 7-5 is not necessarily winning, although technically it is. Winning is going to mean 9-10 wins and being there on that final Saturday before the playoff, at least as long as we have them being part of a championship game or being in the running for an ACC championship game. Brian says definitely deficit spending. If they're running things like the federal government has for decades, I'm sure everything will be just peachy. All right, Price says, honestly, I don't know that they do care, but social media algorithms keep putting Franklin's posts in front of them. Yeah, that's true. X has gotten really bad about that. Yeah, the algorithms do. They continue to, whatever you click on, whatever you read, it immediately, you notice it. X has gotten really bad about it. Instagram, they all are like that. That's how our phones know where we're going to shop next. SWV to Texas says Penn State fans are like the guy who kicks his longtime girlfriend to the curb and then gets mad when she lands on her feet instead of being crushed. I don't know. I don't know that they're mad. I think they're looking at it with curious optimism because, maybe they are. Maybe some of them are, but I don't believe any of them are pining away that he was still their coach. What's up, Blair Allen? Week 1 of high school football. Go out and support your local kids. Could not agree more. Southwest Virginia is a very special place. Go Buffs. Hey, tell Coach Cromer I said hello. Tell him to come on the show. Tim and I have a long history of working together. Tell Tim to come on this program. You're going to tell you what, Blair, you win week 1. You tell him to come on here. We have Blacksburg football here tomorrow night against Giles. 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock. Again, it's the audio. Let me clarify. It's the audio broadcast. Now, Landon and Richard will be on camera for pregame, halftime, postgame. Coach Reese going to join them on postgame. And we're excited about all that. We're going to try to start a weekly segment with Coach Reese. It didn't work out this week as he's getting ready for his first game, and but we're going to try to work that out going forward. So, yeah, high school football indeed. Exciting time. That first Friday night just feels good, doesn't it? And it is here. It is here. And yes, go out and support. And let's let high school football be special. Can we? Can we just do that again? Can we not try to put it in a box and try to compare it to everything else? Right? Oh, cool. Yeah, be sure to tell him. Tell him Rick said hey. Tell him that I miss him. Have fun tonight, Blair. I know you will. Oh, are you on the PA for middle and JV? That's cool. Big fan of Floyd County. I was over there a couple weekends ago with my, you ready? My wife. Still feels weird. Always a great vibe in Floyd. And I'm telling you, they don't sponsor the program, although they should. The best pizza around, Dogtown Roadhouse over in Floyd. It's a great atmosphere. They have music. I'm giving them a free plug. They have beverages, good beverages from regional breweries that you don't get everywhere. Service is great. Just trying to turn people on to the good things in life. Toby says, Rick, agree with you 100%. I'm not reading this because he said that. I just now started looking at it. I didn't realize he said that. Thanks, Toby. As long as Franklin wins, none of this is really going to become an issue. But 6-6, 7-5, back-to-back seasons of that, players leaving, so forth, then the message is going to be dissolved. Yeah, correct. And it does. It puts more pressure on him. He doesn't mind that. I'm not saying he's going to back away from it. But Tech fan is smart. They're not just going to sit there and watch this thing turn in from bad to mediocre and think, is this what we bought into? Is this what we were told was going to happen? And we'll ask Dwight Vick this question coming up. But I know the answer. You're going to say, no, that's not what we want. So then the constant begging for more and more is going to just be like, well, I'll tell you what, why don't you go out and produce? That's all. Floyd travels to NARS. Uh-oh. Coach Mabry, you got some rooting interest there. The black and gold and the green and gold. Awesome. Yeah, high school football is special. In this area, man, it's extremely special. Yeah, I think, week one, Tebow, they'll start out excited, and then when the game settles into what we all pretty much assume is going to happen, then it's going to be about who can drink the most in the quickest amounts. You might see a lot of folks going back out to their tailgate. I think the excitement is just centered around Franklin's first game as opposed to it being a first game. Like I say, when you open up with a 50.5 point underdog, it's kind of a given what's going to happen, but the curiosity is going to be on how everything looks. I want to see how Grunkemeyer looks. I mean, I don't plan on watching that entire game because it, in all likelihood, is going to just be awful, not competitive in any way, shape, or form. So, but there'll be some curiosity there. Won't be able to get a real read on the defense. Some ways you will, but they're playing that triple option. It's going to be different. We'll see what kind of rotations they have. I am curious to see how they do with subs. There are some things you can take out of the game. Who are some of the first guys to rotate in, defensive line rotation, things like that. Because I don't think you're going to need your starters very long in a game like that, or you shouldn't. And then Franklin's going to have a decision to make. Is he going to run it up against a military school with the tradition that VMI has playing Virginia Tech? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with all that. But there's a lot of things surrounding that game other than the competitive aspect of it, I think. But, yeah, people will be loud and proud at the beginning, the first Sandman under Franklin, all these things. So, yeah, it'll be a Saturday night party. No question. I did see that. Bob says, did you see where Tim Curry passed away? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yep. So people apparently are pretty angry that ESPN's taking the scroll off the bottom of their screen. What do y'all think about that? So, in other words, they announced yesterday that they wanted a cleaner presentation. So at the bottom where they do all the scores of the top 25 and then they go through the conferences, they're taking that off the screen. So what do y'all think? Do you like that or do you don't like that? Now, a lot of people are accusing them. They're doing this because they want people to go to their app more. Their app is not doing great, so they're trying to push traffic subtly to that so people will flock to that during games. But I think I like it from this perspective because a guy who broadcasts games, I want the game that I'm calling or the game that I'm watching to be the focus. And it always feels like on ESPN in particular, they're just showing the next thing because they're contractually obligated to do it by always trying to include something else. I should ask AB about that. I will next week. So I think I do like it. A lot of people are very upset by it. I mean, a lot of people are really just emotional about it. But I think that's what they're trying to do. They want people to go to their app. It won't bother me one way or the other. I mean, when I'm watching a game, I'm watching that game. I don't know how much I looked at the bottom of the screen anyway. They're going to do cut-ins if there's some kind of big upset anyway. It's not like they're going to just stop updating people. I mean, if something is about to happen, they're going to, put it on there. And think about it. If you do want to see what's going on, how tough is it to watch a play, the play's over, guys are getting ready to go back to the huddle, and you go, all right, scoreboard. Oh, wow, okay. Put the phone back down, next play. Yeah, it's true, David Mabry. Gamblers and fantasy players are upset about no scroll. Yeah. Yeah, in Vegas, they like the idea. I think that's why it was created as well. Yeah. Bring back an AI Stuart Scott and Bob Lee. I would love to see an AI Stuart Scott. God rest his soul. He was one of my all-time favorites. We don't have a history. We kind of have a history. When Whit Holcomb Faye hit a shot at half court to beat High Point years ago, it was the number one play of the day on SportsCenter. You can probably still find it on YouTube. And he was going through it, and I was screaming, and my voice got all. And he closed out the segment to go to the commercial impersonating me. It was really a badge of honor. Stu Scott was a real one. He was a real one. So was Bob Lee. Bob Lee, one of the last credible journalists they actually had on that channel. Now everything's just an absolute joke. Only time will tell if it makes the screen cleaner. It also gives them more room for promotions. Yeah, that's what people are talking about, Attorney Ryan Pry. They're saying they're doing that to do what you just said, to continue constantly talk about a cleaner presentation. All they're going to do is promote their own stuff. Daniel says, Rick, how many times are you going to mute the TV this weekend? On our professional door text line. Probably quite frequently. Depends on who's calling the game. Is Sean McDonough on one of the games? He'd have to be, right? Is Sean McDonough in Ireland? Who the hell's calling the game in Ireland? Anybody know? Wayne? If Sean McDonough is calling a game, it will not be muted. He's brilliant. Ever. Brilliant. Depends on who they got on there, though. I hope they have, if he is doing one of the games, I hope he is on the Virginia NC State game. Yeah, more room for Pat McAfee. How many times? Oh, God. That's exactly what's going to happen, isn't it? They did that just to create more room to promote their own crap, their own slop. That's exactly what it is. There's more motivation than just having the assumption people are going to go to their phones for the updates. Yeah, y'all are right. We're going to see McAfee, like an animated like McAfee thing come open, and he's going to be moving underneath the screen. And look what's coming up. I'm on the NFL now. It's exactly what's going to happen. Brian Oliver says it will leave more room for gambling advertisement. Let me get Creed in here. He's been a wild man this morning, man. There were coyotes out there this morning in the distance. Maybe he had a little interaction because I know he goes to the farm across the way, so he may have run into something. All right. ESPN cut off McAfee shirts herself. What's up, Cecil? Text line popping this morning, brought to you by Professional Lord. I hear you say you had more sponsors come. Yeah, we do. We're excited about it. We're growing here on the channel. We're getting about 40,000 views a month. Thank you. That counts rewatches and things like that. Big Dog Pop's been a huge hit, although it won't be on tonight because I have my real job duties. Check me out on ESPN Plus. But yes, we'll have an announcement next September 1st, and then we'll have an announcement. Our Finally Friday edition now has a corporate sponsorship, so we are excited about that. People recognizing the channel is growing, and we're reaching a lot of people. So it's great. And I appreciate the community's support. Means a lot. So thank you. I'm going to keep it under wraps for now. But trust me, you're going to like both. But Fridays are going to really, really sound cool going forward. Yes, Trey, we do. Blacksburg High School football tomorrow. I probably haven't promoted it enough here. I've been so busy trying to get it together, but Blacksburg High School football debuts here tomorrow night. Landon Weaver, Russell Terry, two of Bill Ross SMA students. Bill reached out yesterday thanking me again. He doesn't have to do that. It means a lot, though. These kids are very excited. They're well prepared. We went over all the technical aspects yesterday. And the reason Blacksburg, because they're the only local school that was willing, that wanted to be on air, that didn't have a broadcast partner. ESPN Radio out of Blacksburg went out of business, and they're the largest high school in our region, plus the Virginia Tech sister school, if you will. And we will have Blacksburg football here. They are excited. I know Coach Reese has been awesome. He's very excited. We're going to highlight players. They will join. I believe they're going to be part of the post-game show. And those two guys will do a great job. So what we're going to have is the audio broadcast. Sponsors who have supported the broadcast will be shown constantly throughout on the scroll and their logo. There's going to be a live read. And the guys will be on live on camera for pregame, for halftime, and for postgame. I'm just letting them have it. Reiterated to them yesterday, as long as you guys get on the air, you know what? This is your broadcast. You don't give young people an opportunity, then sit there and try to micromanage it. It's their broadcast. They can do whatever they want to with it, and they'll do it very respectfully, and they'll represent our area very well. Bill has schooled them well, and I think you'll really like the call. Two terrific young dudes who are very eager. So tomorrow night, 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock, a great renewal of a rivalry in the NRV. Blacksburg and Giles. I mean, come on. I will be there tomorrow night. I will be there tomorrow night. Not that that matters to anyone. But I'm there just to make sure the guys get there okay. Not because I'm worried about them, but to make sure the technical part works. Rodney Young, who writes for The Patriot, covering high school football. He's got Radford at George Wythe tomorrow night. There you go, Wayne. You old maroon, you, hosting the Bobcats tomorrow. This week, by the way, in my Patriot column, I make 10 bold ACC football predictions. Take them to Vegas. Get ready. 10 bold ACC football predictions coming out in the newspaper tomorrow. The Patriot is a wonderful publication put on by Mike Williams. Mike is an old school journalistic mind. We don't have things like the Patriot anymore, either online or hard copy, that are dedicated to providing information for the communities, covering high school sports the way they do with Rodney. And it's really refreshing to see in this day and age. It really is. And that's a great way to start the season. Good rivalry there as well, Radford and George Wythe. Who does Pulaski County have tomorrow? I guess I should have checked all that, shouldn't I? It's okay. We're not doing 4th and goal this year. I just don't have the time really to do it this year. Now, it'd have been probably a little different if it had been more profitable. But I'm just being honest. Just being honest. I'm looking now. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to find out. It's hard to find simple things like scores. So I don't know where those would be. Where's the list and all that? If anybody knows, let me know. What's the best place to have Rodney, you still have your site? You still have your high school site? Nobody has the scores listed, though. Okay. I'm looking for a list. They're at Northside. Okay, thank you, Low Country. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it. Northside's at Pulaski. Thank you. Oh, at Pulaski. We'll have all the results for you on Monday with what happens with high school football. I will work on finding all that so I can have it at the stand. I still think if we could find enough motivated people and the right investors, you could create a very successful, very simple website dedicated to keeping people updated on the results of games throughout the high school football season, basketball season, spring sports. Have it all in one place. Have contributors who are dedicated to give you updates on their schools, because it's just not there. You can't find it. I don't mean just at the end of the night, like have people who could sit there and update it as the games were going on. Rodney does have scores. Okay, good. People would really appreciate that, because all I hear is how people cannot find anything about what's going on locally in high school football throughout Friday nights. Correct. How is Northside this year? Anybody know? They going to be okay? Well, we'll see what happens. We shall see what happens this year. Ronnie, go ahead. Give your put your website there in chat. Let people know where to find it. Hey, there we go. Now I have the schedule. Took a little digging, but I got it. Salem and EC Glass. You got Giles and Blacksburg, William Fleming and Verina. Ooh, that won't be easy. Northside Pulaski. Glenver at Liberty Christian. Wow, Liberty at LCA. Hidden Valley, Stanton River, Williamburg, Cave Spring. Christiansburg on the road at Carroll County. Floyd County and NARS. Auburn on the road at James River. Radford, George Wythe. Craig County and Galax. Craig's going to be pretty good this year. Rural Retreat, Fort Chiswell, Chehowee, and Marion. All right, so there you go. We got some pretty good games coming up. So Rodney will post scores after midnight. Okay, there you go. I don't know any of those names. RodneySportsNow.com, by the way. Mike Monaco, Jordan Rogers, and Dana Boyle are doing the Carolina game. Yep. Probably means the old mute button will be pushed. We never push the mute button when this guy joins us. Dwight Vick, the quintessential source for all things college football, Virginia Tech related in particular. What's up, brother?
What's going on? Who you muting today, man? Are you muting somebody? What's going on? Are you muting somebody?
Well, people are asking me because I usually can't listen to, let's say, the quality of announcers that ESPN employs during their college football games. So most of the time I will watch the game muted because I can't stand the Oh, yeah, the constant self-promotion, and they talk about everything but the game, and it's all about them. Now, Sean McDonough and a few others are the exception to the rule. I'll leave Fowler and Herbstreit on. I don't think either one – I don't think Fowler's great. He's okay. He's a play-by-play guy. But we just got three names. I have no idea who they are calling the Carolina game. Mike Monaco, Jordan Rogers, and then Dana Boyle, I guess, is the sideline gal. So there you go. That's the way they're going to start off college football season on Saturday.
Who played? I gotta even look at the schedule. I know there's games this weekend. It's week 0. Announcers, ESPN especially. I mean, I've been saying this for years, long before you and I became friends. The promotion and like it'll be 3rd and 8, and the game's tied at 17, and they'll be talking about some new show coming on ABC or
yes.
And then I'm like, what? It'll be a big play. And then they got somebody in the studio, in the booth, they're talking to, promoting horse racing. And I'm like, talk about the game. I mean, yeah. And then they'll go to the halftime crew, and they'll give you a little blurb. Yeah, the Hokies, man, they gotta run the ball better. Boom, boom, boom. And that's it. And then they'll start talking about the other games coming on 6 hours from now. It's the world we live in. I mean, every clip has an ad. I mean, yeah, it's just a business.
Agreed. They've lost sight of it, for what they're supposed to be. And you're right. It's constant promotion. And now they've eliminated the scroll at the bottom. All the scores are gone. They announced that yesterday. They say to give it a cleaner look. But what do you think? You like that or not? Yeah, it's gone.
I did not know that. They got rid of the ticker at the bottom?
Yeah, starting Saturday, it's gone. It's gone.
Why? That's how I kind of knew. Oh, let me go watch this other. Well, I know they do have, because I have it. If you have YouTube TV or most streams now, you can watch 3 or 4 games on your TV. I mean, but still, I mean, it's not like it's a major blow. It's just one of those things where I swear these execs get in these rooms and they just want to change stuff, man. The suits will always. I've seen it with, Virginia Tech administration, the college. They just change stuff. I know we have to pave the roads. We have to do certain things to make our overall well-being, our quality of life better. And I'm all for that. But sometimes it's just like, why change? Why? Again, I am majorly on point with safety in football. But I always forget until I watch a game, the NFL kickoff rule. The way they do it. It's just, I don't know, man.
It's awful.
Just have everybody start at the 25. That little wait till they kick it and everybody run down. I don't know. I know the safety piece is big, but that's just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the NFL has it. I posted this on my Facebook page. The NFL has a major problem right now, and it's not talked about because it's so uncomfortable for fans, players, and coaches and owners. But 1 out of every 4 football player is getting CTE. 1 out of every 4 player is getting CTE, and they're dying from it. And I know they have those big helmets now with the cushion on top. So I understand why the kickoff is the way it is now. It's just, I don't know, man. There was a period, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, where numbers of kids enrolling to play football was going down across the country. But I don't know if that has been continued. I don't know if those numbers are continuing to go down. But I played football, as everybody knows, while I'm on here. But, looking back, we played during a very dangerous era. There's more awareness now, but at the same time, if people are still getting CTE, Goodell and his guys have to address that. You got to look at, maybe eliminating the preseason. But what did they do? They doubled down and they extended the season. There's more games now in the regular season.
Yeah, they added again. They're going to add another game too. There's going to be 18 before it all said.
They're going to get to 20 games, and you have been adamant throughout the summer, Rick, talking about Tech schedule and travel, going to California and going to SMU. Yeah. That's another thing. I mean, travel never bothered me, but I do think when it comes down to recovery, when you talk about teams going to London and other places and then turning around and coming back, your body has to recover. I don't think the average fan understands, whether collegiately or even on a professional level, the recovery you need when you travel to a different time zone, play for 3 hours where you're banging, knocking people down, tackling all, and then fly back, and then you play again, and the recovery. But NFL, Goodell and the guys are going global. They've already started that years ago, and it is going global. They get great crowds. They get great money. It's just a different time now, man. Somebody asked me one time, would I let my son play football? He did when he was a youngin'. He stopped in middle school, and I didn't stop him. He was a wide receiver, tight end, quarterback. Obviously he's 6'8" now, so he chose the right sport. But I'm not mad that he didn't choose football, though, because I understand the ramifications and the consequences of playing. And the irony in all this, when you look at baseball and basketball, those sports pay significantly more than the NFL, right? So you have players that are putting themselves at risk. Like boxing and hockey, football is a sport that on any given play you can have a catastrophic injury, practice included. So yet the quarterbacks and receivers make the most money, but everyone else, there's very few players with guaranteed contracts, and everyone else does not make that much money. And the position they protect the most is the quarterback, yet he makes the most money. Linemen, safeties, D linemen, linebackers, they'll make good money because a fan will see Jeremiah Wilson, fictional character. Jeremiah Wilson just signed with the Raiders for 4 years, $25 million. He's not getting all of that. I'm telling you, that is eye candy. Now, to the hardworking American like myself and everybody listening and your viewers, that's a lot of money. That's life changing. My son's making more money than me than I did at his age. And he earned it. But I will say, for what football players do and put their life on the line, I wish they made what basketball and baseball players made. And that's not shading baseball and basketball. It's just that those guys get paid a lot of money, and they put their bodies on the line, but not like a football or a hockey or a boxer. Not like those guys. Hockey and football. I mean, look, man, look at that finger. I got it. It's been broke since 1997. I didn't get it fixed because I didn't want to miss the spring. That's when I told you guys I had a post. I broke both these hands. I had bones broken this hand and this hand, and I never missed a practice, never missed a conditioning test, never missed anything because I took pride in being a Hokie and being a player. Was that kind of crazy? Well, yeah, a lot of us that play this game are a little off.
Yeah,
we're a little off, but I taped it up. Eddie Farrell, God rest his soul, and then Mike Goforth. My guy Mike, he retired from Tech, the head trainer. We got X-rated. She told me on this hand it was broke, and then I came back because I was overcompensating, and then this hand got broke. And then Coach J.B. Grimes and Brian Steinspring were like, "Hey, you can sit out." And I was like, "Nah, I'm playing." I couldn't even tie my shoes. And going to class, I looked like Frankenstein. I was wrapped up and walking to class on the drill field. But it's what it is, man. I mean, now these guys, though, I'm gonna become the old man on the porch right now. Well, now these guys will miss practice and miss games because their eyelash is twisted.
Correct, which is what I was talking about early. And I know guys are bigger and stronger. Okay, I get that.
Yeah, they are.
Guys are not. They're not tougher playing the game today than they were when I was growing up watching the NFL college football. When you were playing, that's only been 25 years ago, 30 years ago. I'm sorry, but guys are not tougher today than they were. Now, they have more that they have to absorb because the bodies are bigger. I get that. But I don't know, DV, you play with a lot of tough guys. You were one of them. I mean, I can't imagine anybody, certain guys along that offensive line. You've talked about, guys like Pine across the middle, whoever it might be. Guys are not tougher today because of what you said. They know they can get away with it, so they're doing as little as possible to get ready every week.
Yeah, no, and that's one of those fun debates, you know,
I know,
because
I know.
the younger guys will get defensive and get mad. But listen, I interviewed the all-time interception leader for Virginia Tech in 2020, Gene Bunn, when I first started my podcast, and I'll never forget him because he's the all-time interception leader, and he was you talk to Hokie royalty, he's Hokie royalty. You talk to people that understand his legacy. He doesn't come up enough because he played during the era. He was on my show and he said, we went 3-a-days. They went 3-a-days in full pads for the whole month of August, 3-a-days. And this is when he said, and I thought he was kind of lying, but then he kept talking. I said, this guy's being serious. He said, sometimes to decide on who was going to start a position battle, the coach, some of this stuff is crazy. They would go in a room, turn the lights off, and lock the door. And like with pads on, I don't know if the pads on or not. And then whoever was left standing came out. I mean, look, I'm not saying we need to go back to that. And I don't know if we need to go back to 3-a-days, but I will tell you, when I hear about the guys that played before me, they were tougher than I was, because what and it was, some of it safe, probably not. But you talking about what you earned and how we were physical and how you really prepared yourself for the upcoming season, because you had more days with full pads. I mean, I pretty much my entire 5 years in Blacksburg went full pads. And if I throw in high school was, and somebody might not believe me, but my high school practices for the legendary coach Mike Smith.
Oh, my Lord.
Were probably a little bit harder than they were at Tech. And Tech, it was hard. Like, we went 5:30 in the morning. We had to be at the field on 5:30. We went 5:30 to around 11:30. And then we had a break for lunch, or if we just passed out, then we came back and went around 3 o'clock to 6:30, 7 o'clock. And that was for the entire month of August. And then we scrimmaged on Saturdays or Fridays. And then we had conditioning and film on Sunday. There were days I didn't even know what day it was. I'm in high school, man. I mean, I remember there were days, I mean, I slept, my body was sore. But by game day, man, by the season, I was ready. But it's a different time now, man. Like, that's why I look at these guys. I joked one time in my former player group chat with Virginia Tech guys. And I laugh because I see these kids now. They're coming out the locker room and they're smiling. They got the Virginia Tech media. They're like, who would you take, Spider-Man or Batman? And they're smiling and they're doing TikToks and they're taking selfies. I'm like, man, y'all ain't working hard. I'm just playing, but I'm like, right. We did not have that kind of energy. We were dead tired. You were in the cold tub. Your best players, I'm talking about your Lee Suggs and some of your best players of all time, your Mike Vicks, were limping to the locker room. They had ice packs on their ankles. And I'm not even insinuating that Franklin and those guys aren't working those guys hard. It's just anybody in the chat or anybody listening or watch ever say, yeah, I'm working hard. And you get around somebody that's really working hard and you're like, oh, I ain't working hard like that.
Yeah,
that's
right.
the difference. That's the difference. And we worked hard like that. We were the guy. And again, I take honor and pride in the fact that we are part of the expectations that Virginia Tech is trying to get back to and exceed. We are part of that group that did that. So yeah, man, different time. And again, for the record, I don't want anybody to take a piece of this segment and say, oh, he wants us to. No, I'm not saying neglect safety. I'm saying there's levels to this, and correct. Guys really, really worked hard. It's just, it was a different mentality, and I think that's why, I was on Boundary Corner podcast.
Brian said that.
Yeah, and I talked about how when we played Kentucky in the Belk Bowl, and that quarterback came to our sideline pregame and punched the Virginia Tech player. I know my era. The bowl game would have been canceled because there would have been a brawl in the middle of the field. There's no way a quarterback from Kentucky is going to walk over there and punch a teammate, and we're going to just kind of walk around and chirp. No, we are going. I already know. Listen, Woo! I already know, my guys. I already know. We were, Beamer, Beamer tries, he laughs about it now, but he knows it was different. I mean, Beamer was different. I talked about this with Brian and Tally and those guys. Beamer, that y'all saw the last part of his years, the last 10 years when they beat UVA in that comeback win, and he was dancing on the stool and he was dancing. We did not get that Frank Beamer. We did not. Beamer was not dancing on the stool. He was not doing the nay, and he was and I get it, because when you first come somewhere, you got to set the tone. But I also think you got to also make sure guys understand what they're a part of, because
right.
It's like, when do I, and that's a hard dilemma for a coach. When do I let my guard down? When do I let up? When do I let these guys do whatever? Like, I know a few years ago, I was watching some of the stuff on Tech, and I remember Pride said, we're going to give a day off. Everybody we're going to just give the day off and go to the lake. And they did. I forgot what they did. I don't want to misquote, but he gave them a day off during camp. I'm like, man, no, ain't no days off. No days off. Get a day off when you win 10 games. No days off, man. A day off when y'all weren't conditioning. They weren't conditioning after practice. You mean to tell me you guys aren't doing any conditioning? What are you getting a day off from? You barely go full pads. Okay, it's hot. Yes. But unless you live in a different climate, everybody's dealing with heat. That's roofers, construction workers, janitorial staff. What are we doing? Come on. The band's outside in the heat. I don't know, Rick. Let me get off my porch. I'm getting off my porch now. I'm gonna get off my porch.
No, I agree. That's how I started the program. I think I was talking about the NFL, and I know the popularity and the money is highest it's ever been, and they're going to go higher and higher. But I don't think the game is as good as it was because of that, because of the lack of toughness. And look, I know they're upset and they're concerned about CT, and rightfully so. And I'm like you. I don't take that lightly in any way, shape, or form. But it's almost like they've overcorrected so much in the game. And at some point, there has to be a realization, look, I've made this my career decision. I'm making a lot of money. And to your point as well, they should be making more. When you look at what they do compared to other sports, it's weird, especially since it's the highest grossing league by far of the professional sports leagues. But it does come with the territory. And I think maybe we've gotten so tied up in all the things you mentioned that it's taken away from the game. And in some ways, maybe trying to overcorrect has made the game less safe. I don't know. It's a weird right?
I'm sorry. That's actually a great point, because what's going to happen in a couple of weeks when the season kicks off, this happens every year over the last several years. The first 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks, the offense, the games are terrible because nobody that starts has played. Right. So there's no rhythm. And then on top of it, and I really, really do hate seeing it, but then you have these star players. Remember the last couple of years, they were like, what's going on? We have all these soft muscle tear tissues and everyone's getting hurt. And you know what I told my wife when we were on the couch watching? I said, because nobody's practicing.
100%.
I'm an OG. I'm old now. I know I still look cute, but I'm old. And if I go out now, now and I run like I did and try to run like when I was 25, it ain't happening, boss. You were like, hey, everybody, Vic will be back in a month. He's gone. He's recovering from trying to run 16 110s. It's not happening. Your body has to train. You have to compete. Al Mason talks about you cannot just show up. And that's why the NFL, I'm not even stuck in those. I'm not stuck on nostalgia, but that's why the NFL, to me, the product is inconsistent. And this is why, I mean, I was watching, I'm a sucker for like anything historic. Like I like looking back, reflecting. Yeah. That's just me. I was watching the 49ers and the Cowboys. I was on TikTok watching their battles. I'm talking about Irvin versus Dion and Steve Young versus Aikman. And, oh my God! And Pat Summerall and John Madden calling it. They were. It was
so good, so good.
But those guys, the Cowboys and the 49ers, gave everything they had. That game meant so much to them. I think now you look at a kid who I loved in college, Cam Ward at Miami.
Yep.
And I like him. I was watching him on Netflix. Great quarterback. I know he's with the Titans struggling a little bit as a young guy, but when I watched him in the bowl game, and I never forget this, and he played in the first half, and then in the second half, he sat down. He's still on the sideline, and the announcers were like, I don't know, Jim. Could it be dehydration? Is he cramping? No, and they finally got a sideline reporter to say he's sitting out to prepare for the league. He didn't want to get hurt. I understand it. I know I understand it, but it's weird. That part I struggle with because I know bowl games don't matter. Then if they don't matter, don't even go. Don't even tease your – I think Miami lost that game. I think so. For me, when you hear me talk about my Hokies, I wanted them to play for a conference championship and get back to relevancy. But one thing that pains me and disappoints me is that, truthfully, getting to a bowl game means nothing. And you know who loses in that is we do, the fans. Because unless you're going to the playoffs or you're a mid-major, we're not going to talk about going to a Gator Bowl. We'll watch it because Tech fans are insanely competitive, and we're married to this program, but we're not going to watch it like we did. I'll have it on, I'll watch it. But I mean, I remember the Belt Bowl comeback over Arkansas. That was amazing. That was great. I even sat in the monsoon of a storm.
You did
to watch Virginia Tech beat Tulane. My socks were wet, but then again, I love this program. But that was one of those things where when I finally dried off and I realized outside of Hokie Nation, nobody cared. Nobody cared about a 6-6 team getting their 7th win over Tulane, and they sat out, or 7 of their guys sat out. So it's just different now. Guys are sitting out more, and they're mimicking what the NFL is telling them. So
100%. 100%. It may have been Ray Lewis. Somebody like that said that what he was talking about this. He said, your body, what you're saying, the only way you get your body ready to play football is to practice football. And you can't learn your body to stay away from injuries. You know how you can kind of stay out of trouble. You know how your body, if you don't have he said something like you don't have that mental connection to your instincts because you haven't been hitting as much. Your body's not ready to go into it. So then you have these full-on collisions. So therefore the injuries are going up, especially early in the year. Just what you're saying, because your body and your instinct, you know how to stay out of trouble most of the time. Now, there's going to be some things that happen and your body's going to give out or somebody's going to roll into you. But it's a very interesting point. There's an overcorrection there of keeping guys out of the line of fire. And then when they get into it, it's like training a soldier. Hey, we didn't put you through boot camp. We didn't put you through artillery training, but we need you to go out there and you're going to have to hold your own against this army. Well, no, you can't do it. And it was an interesting point. Right?
Ray Lewis is spot on. Shout out to one of the GOATs at linebacker. Ray Lewis is spot on. And I just hate the disconnect between the young generation and the older generation because we can learn from each other. But I will say one thing I feel like that has made me a successful person is learning from the older generation. Absolutely. What not to do, what to do. And one thing I will never sacrifice or never give into is the theory that I can work hard when I want to. I think one thing I miss about playing college and pro football or just being in the position that I was is that you learn so much about yourself when you push yourself to the limit and you exceed that limit. You give one more stadium run with the weighted vest. You give another one. Or you run, we have 16 110s that day, timed, and we run 18. My bench is 400, and then I get a PR of 420. Like being in a position to push yourself is always what made men and women that play sports really cool. Right. Whether it was Lou Retton on the balance beam or whatever it was, seeing someone accomplish something that we can't do because they really train is why it became so legendary, right? But what happened over the years is money became more accessible 100%. And then sports became more entertainment. So now I see ESPN now on their Instagram and TikTok account talking about who somebody's dating, who's sleeping with who. I'm like, what do I care? Or, you know, somebody is talking about they got a 12 count of chicken nuggets, Chick-fil-A, and they only got 10. So now Chick-fil-A's racist. You know, it's like, why is this new? I want to know about the too deep on my favorite team. So it's just one of those things, man, where we're in a different world, man. We're in a different world. And you know, again, I'll be watching NFL when it debuts Thursday night. Because I play fantasy, I do a couple, but even doing parlays in fantasy, man, is not the same because every time I wake up, there's a scandal where college and NFL players have been like basically part of a scenario where they're shanking games. They're just they're doing stuff. I mean, you don't know what to believe. Essentially what happened, Rick. We lost our way and we lost our authenticity. We have. It's not as authentic as it used to be. And I know I sound like I'm complaining because it's not complaining because I'm going to watch games. There's certain players I love watching play, but it's not the same, right? You know, I keep telling my friends that are diehard Cowboy fans, I'm like, you guys pay all that money, go to Jerry's World, you wear all the gear, you go out there and you love the Cowboys, and they haven't done anything in 30 years. And Jerry Jones, you know, and his family are sitting up top wealthy. Like they got money to burn. And you work too hard to watch these guys do what they do and let you down every season. And you come back and you keep supporting them. And so, because people say, man, Dwight, you don't have no favorite professional team? And I look them dead in the eye, I go, no. And I love it. I love it. I watch games. I have players I love. There's a lot of guys I love watching play, and even some female athletes. I love it. But I will tell you, Rick, you're my guy, and everybody watching. I disconnected from having a favorite team because when I got to the Baltimore Ravens minicamp and I got released, and then I tried to get back in the league, and then a lot of my teammates that I played with at Virginia Tech or even at other schools at UVA that I know that went and coached professionally, and some of them coached collegiately, and you start to get the scoop on how some of these players, many of these players do not care. Yeah. They want their check. They want to get here, and they don't. I stopped going to as many NFL games because of my work schedule, and I watch people fight in the stands, especially Oakland versus Denver, the Bears versus the Packers, Cowboys and Commanders. They'll be in there fighting, and you see all the trending videos. I'm like, why are you fighting over a team that does not care about you? I live in the Washington. They know I live in the Washington, D.C. area. And, you know, the Commanders, the Redskins, whatever they're called, they have been losing for years. And they'll win a big game, and the fans will get excited. And, you know, I live up here. And then when they lose, the Wizards, they've been rebuilding since I had hair. Those guys go out to the club. They get in them. They hang out. You know, when I lost at Tech, when we lost at Temple, I didn't leave the house except for practice for a week. And that was a college game I didn't get paid for. It hurt. It mattered. I felt like we let our team down. We let our fans down. And that's the disconnect. They don't care like you think they care. You're sitting on the couch mad. You're in your group chat. Why didn't they not run the ball on 3rd and goal?
I know.
They'll come in there. They'll do their presser. You know, we just didn't execute. You know, we just got to play better. You know, and then you come back and they keep doing the same thing. I mean, look at I don't know how anybody is a Cleveland Browns fan. Didn't they name Deshaun Watson the starter?
Yes.
He has been horrible this preseason.
I know. You
know what I'm saying? But this is what I mean about the Browns fans will be there on game day. And Deshaun will have some moments because, you know, he used to be an elite quarterback. But, you know, the massage scandals and all the other stuff, I mean, he hasn't been focused. But anyway, and then he gets mad and says, you know, he's playing on the road because the fans boo him. And he's calling the fans out. I'm like, dude, they don't like you because you haven't earned their respect. And you had a scandal. You have to humble yourself. But anyway, Rick, I know we up against the clock. I got work to do. I got to save the world today as usual.
As you always do, my friend. Well, next week we get into it. Game week for Virginia Tech, and you and I will have a little special segment where we're going to talk about Tech and VMI. So it'll be good. Be good stuff.
Yes,
Victory
sir.
from
Yes,
the tunnel,
sir.
baby. Victory from the tunnel. That guy, V-I-C-K, ladies and gentlemen. There you go.
Appreciate y'all, man. Everybody have a great Thursday, great Friday, great weekend. Go Hokies.
All right.
Whoever your favorite team is. Be safe.
All
Wear
right.
a helmet. Wear a helmet.
Yes. You enjoy college football this weekend, my friend.
I will. Y'all be blessed. I'll chop it
All
up.
right. Take care, man. There you go.
All right.
The great Dwight Vick joined us on the first. Saving the world indeed. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Man, what a great dude. What a great dude. All right. We're just about done for the day. Thanks to everybody. Great chat as always. Great sponsorship support. Great professional door text line. My goodness. McClellan chat room blowing up. Finally, Friday edition tomorrow. Coach Elmo, Mike Ashley, Ray Cox, Ralph Barrier, hour 2, and then Jen, she's going to reveal the most dateable SEC coaches year 2. It was an immensely popular segment last year. She's got her list ready for tomorrow. Everybody take care. Enjoy your Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow on the Finally Friday edition